What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. This is Two Catholic Dudes. My name is Ryan Klaus.
My name is Danny Cleary.
A very Merry Christmas to you. But as always, we are not priests. We are not theologians. We're just two Catholic dudes, and we're talking about our faith.
Heck yeah. And today we're going to dive into talking about the new year because we're starting a new decade in just a week here.
Oh, man, that's crazy to think about. But right now it's December 26th for us.
Yes.
And we just had Christmas yesterday.
Yeah. And
but we are in the Christmas season still.
For sure. That's why we have a tree.
Isn't this a cool shot?
Yeah.
This is our
location number
four for you guys. We're in Danny's house again.
But in a different room.
We're just trying to move all around and get used to.
Well, and we're also doing it because we want to be able to do a mobile setup if we have guests that we need to travel to or things like that, or if we want to say we're at an event and people want to do a podcast live or things like that, we want to be able to do it wherever. So we're practicing our moving skills.
Yeah.
Takes forever every time. We got to get better at it.
Well, yeah, I might get some more gear that's like a quick setup because this stuff is just like, it's obnoxious.
It's a lot of cords.
Yeah. So. But like we talked about before, you put in that extra effort though, right? We don't want to beat that to death, but just put in that effort.
Yeah, quality is important to us, so we want to make sure that we have the best quality that we can.
Yeah. So. But anyways, it's Christmas season, so we still have the Christmas tree up.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like December 26th, that tree's on the...
on the dumpster, in the dumpster.
Yeah. That's crazy. You know, they're taking their lights down and everything. I mean... That's probably soon. People do leave it up through New Year's, but you need to leave it up past that, right? Because the Christmas season doesn't end until technically the baptism of the Lord, right?
Right.
And so you got this is a cool Christmas sweater on. What do we got?
It says it's Jesus is on it, and it says birthday boy at the bottom. I bought it.
He's holding a balloon. He's got a little party hat, and there's a dove.
Yeah, there's a dove and
just flying around.
Yeah, I bought it because I was going to a Christmas sweater party. And I thought, everyone's got snowmen and reindeer and all this other stuff. And I was like, I want like an actual, it's hard to find like religious Christmas sweaters. But that's what Christmas is all about. Yeah. So I found this and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So I bought it. Yeah. And now it's my go-to Christmas sweater.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So did you have a good Christmas?
I did. I got to spend a lot of time with my family and extended family, and there were some challenges for sure that we can get into, but for the most part it was great. It was the first time I did not sleep at my parents' house on Christmas Eve.
Oh, little Danny's growing up.
Yeah, wasn't that was super different for me to wake up and just kind of like, let's head over there. Yeah. Like it wasn't a rush down the stairs to it was interesting. So but it was great. I did a lot of stuff with my roommates as well as my family, so it was a good time this year.
That's awesome. And you only went to the one mass, you said, right?
I only went to one mass.
Which is fine. You don't need to go to multiple masses. One gets it covered. But you were used to going to a lot because I would be playing it a bunch too, right?
Yeah, it was the first year I haven't gone to multiple in a very long time. Yeah. Probably 8 or 9 years. It was the first time I just went to the one.
You're just like, what do I do with the rest of my night?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing a board game with my roommates.
Cool.
It was great. But no, it was cool because I went to mass just for mass. I didn't have to. I mean, I ushered and stuff, but I didn't have to.
You're not running around.
I wasn't
doing
running around
7
running
different
anything,
jobs.
or I was just there for the celebration of the Eucharist. So it was cool.
Yeah, sometimes I miss that, and especially because I pretty much had the opposite Christmas of you. I would always do 3 masses in the past. Yeah. But I played and directed at 5, and I kind of oversaw all of them, and there were 7 total. Wow. And yeah, it was nuts. I was exhausted. I'm rested today though. Or the last podcast that you watched or listened to, we did it at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was the first one we filmed it. Yeah, it was we started filming it at 11:30, and then the second one was at 1 in the morning.
And then I didn't finish editing and uploading till 5 in the morning, and then I went to bed. Yeah. So we thought it was going to be a terrible episode. That was the Christmas episode. Yeah. Everyone's like, this is great. We're like, we had no energy left.
Yeah, we were really unhappy with it. So thanks everyone that listened and enjoyed. We did not feel like we brought our best, but you know what? The Lord provided, I guess. So.
Yeah, sure. So I was so exhausted. Yesterday, I did the Christmas Eve masses, and then Christmas morning, the schedule. I was running on maybe 3.5 hours sleep, and I had to do 8:30, 10, and 11:45 masses back to back to back. There's a minute in between to shuffle all the mics around and get everybody like.
And it's different choirs, right? So
it's
you have
different.
Like little kids, adults.
Yeah, okay.
The whole gamut.
Hang on, I have a funny story about the little kids, but first, so I was so exhausted. My parents came to see the last two masses, and then we had lunch, and then we drove back up north, and so I spent the day with my parents, and we just had some dinner. But I was so tired. I fell asleep at like 10:30 last night, and I woke up at 11:30 this morning. So I slept for 13 hours.
Wow.
And then I've had 2 cups of coffee and a couple beers today, so like feeling ready to go.
Great.
We are
energized.
We are hyped. We are excited. We are ready for this podcast.
That's awesome.
Funny story though. Okay, my first mass for Christmas Eve was 4 p.m. children's mass. Usually the 4 p.m. at most churches is like the family mass or the kids mass.
Where, the kids before they go home to Santa, they go to mass.
If you have a children's choir, they're usually singing. Yeah. So I direct a children's choir now at this new parish, and it was the children's choir, which is kindergarten through 5th grade, plus the middle school group. There's like, it's a new group they formed, but there's about 10 middle school girls. Okay. I just put them all together. I was like, you guys are all going to sing. So I'm setting up.
Anyone under 16, you're all in the group.
All in. I'm setting up. I'm like sound checking, trying to get mics set up. The kids are coming in. I'm already tired because it's been a long week, but I'm trying to be cheery and like, Merry Christmas, how's it going? I'm setting up the iPads. We got a whole bunch of stuff. And then I look over and this girl is just like hurling on the floor. She's just like, she's throwing up on the floor. And I look over, I was like, oh my gosh, little girl, like, are you okay? She's like, no.
And let me preface this, everyone, with Ryan doesn't do well with bodily fluids, illness of any kind. So it was probably like, you're already stressed about mass, and then this child, you're not big child, unless it's your nephew, you're not really big on the child
Even
thing.
my nephew, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like looking over into the congregation, people are still coming in. It's before mass, but I'm like, is this anyone's kid? Like, excuse me, we have an
come
emergency
get your throwing
here.
up child.
I grab a roll of paper towels from the back and I come out and I'm holding it up like, anyone's kid over here, we got to clean up on aisle 3. And she's still vomiting. Like, after I went and grabbed the towels and came back,
poor little girl.
She's still throwing up.
On
and
Christmas Eve.
The mom comes back and, I have no time to deal with this, but I felt really bad for her. I'm like,
sure.
Little girl, are you okay? And she's like, no. And the mom comes up and she's like, I'm sorry. She has a little upset stomach and she's just really nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, that's adorable, but like, wow. So that's how my masses started.
Wow.
But really, there was no big hiccups in all the masses. Everything went pretty great. The choirs brought it. They sounded wonderful. The kids were delightful.
Awesome.
But yeah, I was so exhausted.
I bet.
It felt great to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Liturgy for us was it was the Eucharist was there, and that's what mattered the most, and that was very present. All I'll say is you were missed for sure over at our neck of the woods, but I'm glad things went so well.
Thanks, man. And I definitely missed you guys. I missed you guys are always my family, my community, my choir members. I miss them dearly. I'm forming new bonds and communities with my new family members here at San Antonio, but I miss you guys.
Yeah, well, you were definitely missed, but it was still a celebration of the Eucharist, and that's what matters, and that's what the focus should be when you go to mass, and so it was still beautiful. Yeah,
exactly. No matter how great the liturgy is, as long as Jesus is present in the Eucharist, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that needs to be the center of our lives. So if that's the center, then that's what I mean. I said it in my Tuesday thoughts. That's the real present. Christmas is about the presence, and it's His presence, the presence of Him, being born into the world, the presence of Him coming again in our hope, and the presence of Him in the Eucharist at Mass. So,
amen, brother. Yeah. It's still Christmas season. Don't take those trees down. Don't take those lights down. Embrace that Christmas tree longer. And right now, so you guys are listening, if you're listening when this comes out, this is the day before New Year's, yeah?
The day before New Year's Eve.
Day before New Year's Eve, right? So Monday, New Year's Eve is on Tuesday this year. So we thought we could talk a little bit about New Year's this podcast too.
Yeah, sure.
It's a big focal point. This is still in the holiday season, but
everyone out there is going to have 2020 vision.
What?
Because we're going into the year 2020.
Okay, that's
2020 vision.
Great, bud.
Yeah, you get it?
Super.
Do you get it?
Super.
Do you get my joke?
Yeah, wonderful.
Because of the year.
Oh, it's because it's 2020.
It's going to be 2020.
2020.
So if you're looking to next year, 2020 vision.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. You don't need glasses.
Super.
2020 vision.
Yep, we got it.
Yeah,
yep.
It's real good.
Great, Danny.
I have it.
Fantastic.
Comment in if you have 2020 vision.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Wait, when I was a kid, a while ago, I couldn't even imagine the year 2020. It was so far.
Where are the flying cars?
Yeah, where are the flying cars right now?
Yeah, I thought food was going to be a pill. but it's not.
It's not.
Especially you. You're Mr. Back to the Future.
Dude, I'm gonna turn you up.
Are you?
I'm like, all right, here we go. Yeah, we've already far surpassed the year from Back to the Future. And
I don't have a hoverboard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Right. So let's talk about New Year's, though, because that's a big focal point in people's lives. It's often the point when people make New Year's resolutions, right?
Yeah, and New Year's resolutions can be great. I think that they say that like the average is like most New Year's resolutions are like given up by like February 1st.
Yeah, like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, like that you're already over. It was by Valentine's Day.
There you go.
Your New Year's resolution was already, they've already given up on it. And that's unfortunate. But New Year's resolutions I think are good in a lot of aspects because it 9 times out of 10, it's you trying to better yourself or your life. And that's great.
What do you think the most common? We should have Googled this. The most common resolution.
It's got to be going to the gym.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna. This is the year I'm gonna start working out.
Yep.
Well, there's always and I'm a big gym guy. Like I'm in the gym pretty often, and I really enjoy working out. And there's so many memes on the internet where it's like December 31st and it's like an empty gym, and then it's like January 1st and it's all crowded and stuff.
I'm gonna be one of those people. Since I moved, like I would. Before you know me, I would work out like 5 days a week.
But you weren't really a gym guy.
I haven't stepped foot in a gym in over 10 years. I've been in Insanity and P90X and just run. I just run in the streets.
God, yeah.
And I've been doing that for over 10 years, and it works for me, and it keeps me in shape. Because the goal, again, isn't, for me at least, is not to just get like, I don't want to be The Rock and just be jacked and like bodybuilder type, but I want to be healthy, and I want to extend the longevity of my life by just living a healthy life and eating right. So, and those workouts I do are crazy. Yeah. Like it's not fun, but in a way.
But I think that's probably the biggest one, right? Is I'm gonna work out in some capacity. Maybe it's not. I'm gonna go to the gym. Maybe it is like I'm buying. I got Insanity for Christmas. Is that still a thing? Do people still do that?
I was doing Insanity 1, 2, and then the 3. It's like a 30-minute one. I think maybe there's a new one. It was
like all the rage a couple of years ago.
And Insanity too. There's a P90X. There's 3 P90Xs as well. So I would do variants of all of them. Okay. But I'm probably gonna go back. I'm gonna get a 24-hour fitness membership, and I'm gonna like the beginning of the year.
Nice.
And I'm gonna be one of those people.
That's right. That's right.
It's gonna be crazy.
24-hour fitness.
It's gonna be absolutely crazy. But I think it's usually like going to the gym. But I think it's things about working on your appearance, your body, either working out more or eating healthier.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things to make you look and feel better.
Yeah. Or spending more time for myself. Working on myself. That's a lot of what people do is I'm going to work on myself this year. Yeah. This is the year where it's coming up me.
Yeah.
Maybe. And
we should have Googled this. Man, we weren't prepared. Like, because I bet you there's if you Google
there's probably a top 10
right of resolutions, but it's things to improve themselves and their immediate life and lifestyle.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, probably. And I think that's great. It's great, but
it's great. It's great.
I think that that it's very general. It's like
I'm gonna go to the gym.
I'm gonna go to the gym more.
Cool.
Great. I think that we have to be more intentional and more. What's the specific? More. What was the word you used earlier?
We're talking about SMART goals, bro. You got to set some goals for yourself.
Yeah.
So SMART. If you guys know about goal setting, SMART
goals. I'm
gonna forget. I'm gonna forget what it's a specific.
You're coming at me. You don't even know.
I don't even know. Comment in if you remember what the SMART goals are. But it's setting specific goals for yourself. And
is it like the SMART is the acronym?
Yeah, that's the acronym for it.
Specific, mega, alpha, ridiculous, today. SMART goals.
You heard it first, man.
That's it. Set your SMART goals.
This is how prepared we are. Let's do this on New Year's and goals. We don't know what the goals are. SMART goals. Comment in. Tell us what we missed.
Well, anyway, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
Set some goals for yourself. But like, I got really big into goal setting a year ago.
You did. You had a whiteboard.
I had a whiteboard. I still have it. It's in storage now. I really fell off the wagon, but for an entire year I was crazy about this goal setting, and it helped improve my life in so many ways because I was so specific. So when I got into this, I set a year-long goals. What are my big goals? Actually, I did like 10-year goals.
Okay.
And as wild as you could possibly think, dream big for yourself, and if you can dream it, you can do it.
Okay.
So I wrote those down, and writing it down helps. If you just think it, it's gonna be gone. But once you write it down on paper, you're kind of holding yourself accountable.
Right.
Next step would be posting it on social media, I guess. Right. Then all your network of friends.
We'll go. I'm gonna go on in a second.
Sorry,
keep
stepping on your toes,
no,
bro.
Go.
And then I set monthly. Then I set a yearly goal, and then I set monthly goals. And I would have categories: financial goals, personal goals, fitness goals, spiritual goals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then monthly goals, and even down to weekly goals. I wouldn't do so much to daily goals. I just made sure that I did all the things in the week that I wanted to get done. But I wrote them down specifically what I was going to do, and I did all of those things month after month after month. Now, I kind of fell off the wagon like 4 months ago, and I stopped setting those goals, and that's on me. But I need to get back on it. Maybe this is a great opportunity, being New Year's, to reset some goals for myself. But I don't think people set those goals enough, and they're not specific. If they just say, I'm going to lose weight this year, or I'm going to go to the gym more. What does more mean? How much weight are you wanting to lose? And how are you going to achieve those things?
Yeah.
That's what people don't take into consideration. If they just say, I'm going to go to the gym more, well, then they go once on New Year's Day, and they're like, well, I achieved my goal. So that's it for me for the year.
Well, and it's funny because they say like whenever you start something new, like and it's funny that like most New Year's resolutions fall apart in the first 6 weeks, because that's when it becomes like the most difficult. Like, I'll use the gym, for instance, because that's what we're on right now.
Yeah.
Usually if you haven't worked out in a long time and you go to the gym and you work out and you give yourself a good workout and you're lifting weights or doing whatever, the next day
it sucks.
Is miserable. You're dying.
The second day after is even worse.
It's even worse. You can't move.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. Your legs you can't walk. You can't stand up. Every move you make is excruciating pain. And that's when people are like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Or they're like, I got to take tomorrow off because I can't move. When in reality, this is a little life hack for you. When your muscles are really sore, the best way to make your muscles stop being sore is to go work them out more.
Yep.
Because it'll flush out your anyways.
And push through it.
Yeah. But like a lot of people are like, oh, forget it. This is too hard. Or eating healthy. Oh, it's too much prep. It's too much work.
It's too much money.
It's too much money. People aren't willing to spend the time to dedicate themselves to getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that all of this also goes into our spiritual goals and our spiritual growth.
Oh, we got there somehow. You guys were like, how are they going to get to the Catholic stuff? This is a Catholic podcast, right? Here we are.
But
you knew that was coming. Come on.
But I mean, like, when people say, for instance, I'm going to go to mass more. I want to pray more is the most common one, I think.
Yep. I'm going to get closer to God.
Yeah,
this
I
year.
want to get closer to God this year.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But
do that. How are you going to do it? And how long are you going to try?
Right.
Because here's the thing.
Set those SMART goals, the super meticulous.
Super meticulous alpha ridiculous today goals. Whatever it was. Anyways.
Oh, man. So you guys are dying out there. Are you kidding me? It's okay, go on. Time out. This is how much energy I have today. We're drinking out of mugs right now, but we don't have our Two Catholic Dudes mugs yet. So like this is like a camp mug that you got somewhere. You got
I have Batman.
mug.
This is my mug I use every day.
So we really need to get on our Two Catholic Dudes merchandise soon. Segue. Thank you so much.
That's our New Year's resolution.
Thank you so much to our new Patreon members.
Yes.
You know what? When next time I go on a long tangent, can you look up on your phone all our Patreon members? We need to list them on the show here.
Sure.
Okay, but wait till I go on a rant because it's gonna happen. All right. So we're gonna get mugs coming soon, and we'll have those on the show.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. Spiritual goals. Going to mass more. Praying more. Amazing goals. Getting closer to God. Those are amazing things, okay? But here's the thing about it is we're never like done with those goals, because I think that the resolution should not be because I want to go to mass more. Like how long? For how long?
If they're like next 3 months, I want to go to mass every day.
I want to be at mass every.
And then you finish those 3 months, and you're like, all right,
I did
achieved. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Peace.
Or like, yeah, exactly. I want to get closer to God this year.
Right. Then what happens next year?
What happens next year? What happens when it's difficult? What happens like when, and not to say that like we're all going to fail at our growth and during our journeys, but I think that we need to be more specific and intentional about when we say that. Like, not I want to go to mass more. I want to go to mass every single week this year.
Right. I want to not miss mass.
Or I want to start making not missing mass my priority.
And again, because I got so big on goals, the terminology that you use for those specific goals. So one is setting a specific goal. I'm going to say it this way first. I want to go to mass every week. Now, and you want to write that down too, but when you write it down, using the word want is like wishing on a star. Oh, maybe one day I'll get to going to church every week. You're hoping that you'll make it. But if you say I will make it to mass every week, or even some people go as far as writing future tense. I went to mass every week, and they write that down on a paper. And then when they do that for the month, they check it off. And then the next month they check that off or whatever. Oh, I'm going on a rant. So he's looking up those Patreon members.
I am.
Right. So setting the specific goals as for the fact that you will make that happen, or that you did make it happen. And then in your brain, you've already got that. You've already achieved it. You just have to follow through at that point. Right, so setting those really specific goals and, making it work. All right, hop back on.
Here you go. You log me in.
All right, here we go.
All right. Yes, it's being super intentional about everything that we do, and it's not only about like saying the words. That's great, but it's about when we do it. When you go to mass, are you participating? Because yes, going to mass is great, and sitting through mass and being involved, they're two different things. Being involved in mass and being participatory in mass, praying along with it, responding when it's time to do that, that's completely different than just when people are like, I'm just going to go sit in mass. And they just kind of sit there and let it go by without really paying attention to what's going on. And as far as is something that I have to work on this year for sure is intentional prayer at certain points. I'm very big on prayer, and I really take my prayer super seriously. But there's plenty of times, like grace, for instance, where I'm not thinking about it intentionally, and I'm just like, how can I pray as quick as I can so I can eat my food? And I'm not actually taking the time to pray, to be intentional about what I'm doing in that moment.
Yes, I find we're gonna do this on the next podcast. We're gonna announce all the Patreon members. They want us to verify through email and stuff. We're gonna get it.
Too many things.
We got you. We know you guys are out there. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we're gonna call you out on the next episode.
Okay.
Prayer though, yes, that's what you were saying. That's so good. Is meal prayers. I do that even when I'm by myself at a restaurant, whatever. I say a quick blessing, but it's almost always just bless us, Lord, and these, I guess.
Right.
But I try to take those moments right afterwards, and even if it's just quickly, like, thanks, God, so much for the day. Like, just a moment to talk to God. And I think the prayer is a reminder because, we just rush through that.
Yes.
But a prayer reminds me to stop and thank God or ask, usually just thank Him. I say, like, hey, thanks so much for getting me through that morning. If it's lunch, thanks for getting me through that morning. That was rough, but appreciate it.
Right.
So the rushing through the verbatim prayer is a formality almost, but it's a reminder for me. Hey, don't forget.
Sure.
Let's talk to God for a moment.
Sure. The other thing too about prayer is I was having a really great conversation with my grandmother on Christmas. We're just sitting there, and here's the thing: is like my family, aside from my parents and my brothers and my grandmother, nobody else is a practicing Catholic. I don't even know if they believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a struggle for me doing what I do. I talk a big game on the podcast about how, get out there and live your faith. But like, there are times where I struggle and it's hard for me to feel strong in my faith and stand firm in it.
So was it rough for Christmas yesterday?
It could have been. There was parts of it that were challenging for sure. And not by anyone's ill intent, but just because, it's hard when you are very strong in your faith and how you live, and there's a lot of people that have no connection with that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. It's not like they were fighting against you or combative.
No. There was no debating or anything like that. But it's just like, I all know you were all raised, you all went to Catholic school and everything else, and it's just they've just fallen away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray for them, but it's And I don't fault them for it or anything like that, but it's definitely a struggle. Anyway, so I was talking to my grandmother, and her big thing is she said she was meeting with a priest. My grandma's the coolest. And she was like, I need to pray more. I don't pray enough. And she's very like her praying is like prayer cards, saying Hail Marys, praying the rosary, beautiful things. But she's like, but I don't do enough. I don't do enough prayer. How do I have time to, not that I have all this time and I just don't spend it in prayer. I need a thing in front of me or whatever. And I was trying to explain to her that prayer is very vast. And I told her for her, we were talking about New Year's resolutions. And I was like, for your New Year, for looking to pray more, try to be more active in searching for your opportunities to pray. I said, this conversation you and I are having right now is a prayer, because it's our acknowledging that we have a God that loves us and we want to strive to connect with more through prayer. This conversation is a prayer. That when you're on a walk and you acknowledge the beautiful day that God's given us, that's a prayer. Our whole life can be a prayer. And it was just cool to talk to her in that way, because I think but it's realizing and thinking about it, keeping God in mind, that knowing that we need God and we have God.
Right, because some people think that just knocking out 50 Hail Marys, they prayed a lot that day. But if you get in such a routine that you just do that every day mindlessly,
right,
you stopped praying a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And even if that doing 50 Hail Marys takes you like an hour, it doesn't mean anything unless you really connect with God in a way. So even if you don't maybe you mix it up. And I think this is the big thing, is mixing it up. You go outside and you acknowledge God in the beauty of his creation for a split second. That is more powerful and meaningful than spending an hour in mindless Hail Marys. Maybe for somebody that only prays in the other way, where they always just go outside and go, what a beautiful day, thanks God, and they go on with their day. Maybe
they've never picked up a rosary in their life. Yeah,
they need to mix it up in the other way and get in touch with God through the beautiful prayers that the church has given us.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's just, we need to be more aware of and acknowledge that God is in our life and how present he is in so many different things, and not put God in a box of God's around when I pray these prayers, or God's around when I'm at Mass. God, of course he is, but God's everywhere. God's involved through all of our life. And if we kind of take that in and acknowledge that presence of God in all that we do, it's going to make all of those incredible Mass, saying the Our Father, that much more meaningful to us, because we know that God is encompassing everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And he's constantly present, constantly, overtaking our mind, body, and souls. And that's, I think, that's at least my resolution this year, is to acknowledge God's presence more in my life. Okay, so we're talking about, we kind of segued into talking about our resolutions and our spiritual resolutions. And I was going into about, I want to be more intentional, and I want to acknowledge more the presence of God in my life, in everything, not just in the easy parts.
And then everyone listening is like, yeah, but how are you going to do that? So let's hear it.
Yeah, I think that it's as simple as being intentional in everything I do. When I go to Mass, I'm present. I'm fully in that Mass. I'm listening, participating, turning off everything else going on in my mind to put my focus on Jesus. Spending more time in front of the Blessed Sacrament.
I'm going to be tough on you, though. Is that something you could write down?
No.
Do you have any numbers?
But
okay.
I could bring my journal to Mass.
Okay.
And take notes during the readings.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah.
I'm holding
it
to you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's what it takes, is finding that something for you to write down, or now have the entire podcast audience hold you accountable for.
Yeah.
So guys, come Valentine's Day, say, Danny, have you been writing down?
Have you been taking notes?
Taking notes on the homily for the last 6 weeks?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but anyway, but things like that.
Calling you out.
It's it's gonna come back around in a second.
Okay, sure.
But I wanna continue to pursue Jesus every day.
Mm-hmm.
Not just. I think this last year I got lost in my ministry being more of a job and less of a relationship with Jesus. And this year I want to pursue and I want to chase Jesus more. Jesus the person.
Speaking of that, I'll just chime in because I know you're about to ask me the same, right?
Well,
Okay, maybe not. All right, what are you gonna ask me?
Yeah, Ryan, what do you got going on?
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, my resolutions, perfect. What you said though, not just make it a job. We've talked about it before, but now in this new job in San Antonio, I'm doing 4 to 5 masses every single weekend, and it's by the 5th one or 4th one, I'm like been checked out. I'm so exhausted.
Right.
Is to still be present in mass.
That Eucharist is still there.
That Eucharist is
Jesus
still there.
Is still present all 5 times.
And it's like, yeah, I might need a coffee break, but that's not what this mass is about. So finding that line between just playing and just being a job and still being present in mass, whether it's my 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th mass that weekend, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that's not what my resolution. My resolution is to get back to that routine that I had when I was writing those goals, which was every single morning, no matter how tired I was, is to set my alarm 20 minutes before I needed to wake up and sit at the foot of my bed and go through this prayer routine that I told you about maybe before on the podcast, where I would do verbatim. I would do some actual meditation, and then do some verbatim prayers, and then do free form prayers where I just talk to God.
Is this where you do that breathing thing?
That's where I do the breathing thing for sure.
Let's get into that.
Sure. Sure.
You explain it from your point of view.
Well, it was because in addition to getting close spiritually, I was listening to all these podcasts on like how to improve your life and how to set these goals and stuff, and how to meditate and how to get you pumped to start your day. And they would say, like, in addition to when you're done meditating, that you do this like breathing thing where you breathe out like forcefully 20 times or 30 times, and you like pump your arms up. So if you're looking, it's like you do this and you go like 30 times, and to get the air flowing in your body. And so when we were at camp together, all of a sudden he's like,
well, hold on, let's pause you there. So we went to camp, guys. The camp where this idea of Two Catholic Dudes was born.
Not this camp.
the SAW retreat that we went to, where Two Catholic Dudes was born. Okay, I didn't know. Right, Ryan and I don't live together, so I'm asleep. And we're up late at these camps, and I'm one of the people on the director's team, so I'm busy at this camp. Like, I'm up late.
I'm busy too, bro. Come on.
I'm busier, and I'm up, and I'm working, and I'm doing stuff. And 20 minutes before we're supposed to be at breakfast, I'm woken up by this. I look over, and Ryan's, sitting Indian crisscross applesauce on his bed, just going wild with this breathing thing, and I was like, I'm glad that this is improving your life, because it's definitely not improving mine. And man, so yeah.
You took a Snapchat one morning. And
I did. I sent it to everyone.
Group.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not embarrassed by it.
Good.
It helped start my day. And I
if we're still, if Two Catholic Dudes is still a thing by this summer, it will be.
Yeah.
Maybe if he's to get back in it, everyone in the audience will get a taste of that.
You got
I'll vlog
Instagram vlog. Perfect. So I want to get back into the crazy breathing thing, but the spiritual part where I do the prayer routine, because that helped me so much in my faith during that time. And I've been busy, but that's no excuse, because if something's important to you,
you always find time.
You make a priority and you find time for it.
Yeah. And that's something that I always yell at my teenagers for at youth group is everyone's busy. And Father Mike, let's quote Father Mike. We haven't done it in so long. I was watching a Father Mike talk when he was at Seek this last year, and he was talking to a bunch of college students, and he said, "You have more free time now than you ever will in your life." Mm-hmm. And I said it to the high school students. It's even more true for the high school students. You're free. I get it. You have a lot of stuff going on. You got your classes and your sports and your whatever, but what you want to make important and a priority in your life, you can make a priority and important in your life. And that it's that simple. I've had people involved in our program that were busy as all can be, that made it a faith a priority, and then I have other teens that have been like, "There's no way I can do it. It's just that there's no time.
It's too hard."
I have soccer practice 48 times a week. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's everything that you got to make it a priority.
Yeah,
you got to make it intentional that it's in your life.
Yep,
not just I'll do it if it's convenient. I'll go to mass so I don't have something else going on. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying about intentional, making things intentional. Like, no, mass isn't just if I have time. Mass is part of my week. Like on Sunday, I go to mass. That's what I do. Or for me, it's every day at 1:30. I go to adoration for 20 to 30 minutes. That's just, it's not if I have time or if I whatever. It's at 1:30.
That's
amazing. What I do. That's what I go. My phone goes off, and it goes.
Wow, that's big for you too.
And it goes Jesus time.
Nice.
And I run over there, spend a little time with God, turn off the rest of the world, and then I'm off. And it's not about, I have time today, so maybe I'll spend a little time in adoration. It's a part of my day. It's a part of my journey.
Yeah.
This journey of life that we're on. Faith, your chase, your relationship with God has to become part of what you're doing. It has to become a integral part of what you're doing, not just when it's convenient, not just when it's easy,
and not just I'll do it in the morning and then I'll forget about you and I'll catch you. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's an acknowledgement, an intentional relationship with God always.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should be striving for always, because I don't think that there's ever a time where God's just like, oh, I'll get to Danny when it's convenient.
You should be willing to walk hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles just to get to the Lord if need be.
Yeah.
And you know who did that? The 3 wise men. The 3 wise men, because you know what this week is?
They didn't walk. They had camels.
Oh yeah.
According to all the nativities.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Bad.
But you know what? Yeah, the 3 magi. They did. They hustled.
Because you know what this week is also? This is Monday, so this coming weekend is going to be the Epiphany of the Lord.
Yeah.
Right? And 3 wise men. We talked about it last week. Do you guys have your 3 wise men at the nativity?
Yeah, where are they?
Are they across the church and they walk their way over?
Yeah, are they on the bookshelf?
Yeah.
Right. Where are they?
So they're coming. They're coming into town.
Yeah.
And what do we want to say
I actually got an Epiphany tie for Christmas.
Wow.
My mom bought me a tie with the Magi on it.
Nice.
I'm pretty hyped to wear it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to be wearing that for Epiphany Sunday.
We get to sing We Three Kings on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's always a cool moment.
Yeah. I wish that we'd done a little more research. We'll talk about this.
We'll touch on it next week after we
I want to know, because
celebration.
Magi, kings, wise men, what are they? I know they were from 3 different places in the world.
Yeah, but all,
but they were big deal. I know they were super educated.
Yeah.
They were like people have said they're astrologists,
astronomers.
Astronomers.
I don't think astrology.
No, that's not it.
What's your sign, bro?
Yeah. They were astronomers. They were very educated men, unlike myself, apparently.
Right.
And that's why the star was important to them. They knew the star was not let's follow that. Hopefully that goes. The star was like a signal of it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many prophecies in the Old Testament, where they talk about Bethlehem. I think the prophet Elijah goes hey, Bethlehem is where it's going to be. It was called the city of David.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus, it was that Jesus, the king of the savior of the world, was going to come from the line of David. So they knew where they were going.
Mm-hmm.
The coolest thing about them that I like is the kind of the cool secret agent spy movie type things that they pulled with Herod.
Mm-hmm.
When Herod's okay, hey, I want to go pay my respects too. They're all right, for sure. We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
When we know, for sure.
Yeah, and God's hey, don't tell Herod. And there's you know what? Think I'll go home a different way.
That's okay. That's my favorite part about the story too. We can theologically dive into it so much. We shouldn't, because we don't know enough to talk about it.
Right.
But
because we're just two Catholic dudes talking about our faith.
We're talking about our faith. We're not theologians. If you didn't know, now you know. The fact that they have to go home another way.
Yeah. I have this story. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna while you talk.
You can read a little bit of that, but the fact that you're on your path to meet Christ in your life, to receive Christ in whatever way he comes into your life, into your heart, you're gonna go one way. And you're going to go a long, arduous journey or whatever path you take. But once you receive him, there's no way you can go back the same way, because you will never be the same. So they have to go back a different way.
God has called them to go a different way than they had planned.
Yeah. So
there goes my Tuesday thought for Epiphany.
Oh no! Well, the people that don't watch the episode,
having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod. Sorry, not having been warned not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way.
Yeah.
You know, because God may ask you to go a different way in life. God may ask you to go a different way this year than you expected to go. God may shake things up, you know, because he's God, because he can do what he wants. Because here's the thing is God wants to use all of us. And unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, we don't get to decide how we're used by God. God's got an intention and a plan, and we got to choose to follow him. And sometimes that means we got to go a different way, you know, because we're ultimately trying to return to they're trying to return to their country, right? Where their home. We're trying to return home too at the end of our life, right? We're trying to go to heaven. So we have to, you know, how we get there. Sometimes God tells us to go a different way. And
you know what? We never heard the end of the story for where they actually ended up afterwards. Maybe they never made it back to their quote unquote homes, right? But their homes in Christ could have been somewhere completely different, because once they received Christ, their lives were never the same. They departed for their homes in another way because they've been changed at the core. But maybe their journey took them another way, and their home ended up being completely different at that point because they had received Christ.
Right.
Maybe they went back to where they came from, but then their lives were completely different at that point. Who knows? Maybe they on their path the way back home, they're like, "Oh my gosh, can you believe it? We took the long way there. We didn't even realize it." Or maybe their path was harder coming back. But we do know that their life was never the same because they had received Christ, and that's the beauty of that end of that story.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is what I also love about this story of the Magi is it says here, I'm in Matthew, everyone that wants to if you're following along, yeah, I'm in the book of Matthew, chapter 2, and it's called, you know, the visit of the Magi, chapter 2, verse 10 is, they were overjoyed seeing the star, and then entering the house they saw the child with Mary his mother, and prostrated themselves and did him homage. So they were pumped, like this is it. You know, super pumped. They were super pumped to like see this star and know it's time. Like the Savior of the world is here. Let's go. Let's go. So that's us. Like that's like, you know, we should be overjoyed to know that there's God. To overjoyed and I love that because they're the star where they followed to go to enter where they saw Jesus. They were overjoyed to get there. That should be us at Mass. That's where Jesus is. We should be overjoyed to rush to Mass, to follow, you know, our road signs to get to our local parishes. But we should be overjoyed. I love that word, overjoyed. You know, to go and to pay homage to God, to this King.
Yeah.
You know,
so saddle up your camels, hop on board, make your way to Mass. Let's get it for the Lord. Let's go. Super pumped.
Be like the Magi.
Be like the Magi this week.
They were super pumped.
They were super pumped. Get on your camels. Let's do it.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm ruining your...
Be overjoyed. Yeah. Be over... Jeez. You're ruining it. It's okay.
Because that's good.
Because now we have 2020 vision.
Okay, great.
Going into next year. But anyways, everyone needs to... get through all of our jokes today. But the point we're trying to make is that this year, the focus a lot of times for these New Year's resolutions is, how am I going to be better? How am I going to improve myself? What am I going to do for me? This is finally going to be the year for me. I think if we change that up and go, this year I'm giving myself to God. What does God want me to be? And you know what? God wants you to be healthier. God wants you to be the best version of yourself. God wants you to pursue your goals and your dreams. But God wants you to pursue Him while you do all that stuff.
Amen. And don't forget to set yourself some SMART goals.
And make sure you say, I don't know the acronym. I'm not going to even attempt to do it again. But that's what this New Year's resolution, that's what we should be doing, is how are we pursuing God this year? How are every day you're going to wake up and the first thought in our head is, how am I going to pursue God today? Even if that's, I'm going to start with a cup of coffee. That's fine. But we need to be intentional. We need to be striving to find God this year. Make it a habit. Make finding God, choosing Jesus, chasing Him, being in relationship with Him, make that your resolution, your intention, your priority. Everything else will come into play if we allow ourselves to let God be the center of our lives. That's what I'm going to do for the new year. That's my prayer for all of you. That's my prayer for myself. Keep me accountable. Keep Ryan accountable. I don't know what you're gonna do, but that's what I'm doing.
Amen. That's Danny's mic drop moment at the end of our podcast. That seems to be a theme lately. I'll ask you one more question because this is getting close to another hour-long episode with just the two of us, so that's great. Hope you're enjoying those longer episodes. But I will ask you, what are you doing for New Year's? Because this is going to be the first year that we're not together on New Year's in a while.
What am I doing?
Yeah, what do you got planned?
I don't know.
That's okay.
I assume my group of friends. I live in a house with three other guys, and I assume that we're like the hub, as you know.
Yeah.
Here you are. But so I assume we're throwing a little shindig.
Cool.
I'm not a real big partier, so it'll
be nice.
I'll stay up till midnight though. You know, I don't have cable, so I can't watch the ball drop.
It's nothing, anyways.
But yeah,
cool.
I'm extremely ecstatic for 2020.
Yeah.
Speaking of, real quick before we wrap, is we were talking about posting on Facebook, and I totally forgot I was going to say this. Because 2018, I posted on Facebook that I wanted to, my goal for 2019 was to be able to book a speaking gig as a Catholic speaker. Didn't happen. Failed. But January 2020, we got to go.
Technically not, because you said I want to book myself a gig. You booked the gig in 2019.
You're right. I'm just not doing it until 2020.
You're doing the gig in 2020.
But anyway, so I'm pretty excited. I can't wait for 2020. I think it's going to be a huge year for us, for TCD.
Two Catholic Dudes, TCD. There you go.
And but awesome. I'm extremely excited. So
cool. Well, I'll miss you guys on New Year's. I'm going to be heading up to SLS, the Focus Missionary Conference in Phoenix. I'm going with the Santiago Retreat Center, who have so graciously housed me during this transition down in Orange County, and I'm going to be supporting that group during the event for SLS. I've never been a part of that, so I'm going to be with them, but I can be promoting Santiago Retreat Center, promoting my new parish, and promoting Two Catholic Dudes at the same time.
Beautiful.
We're going to have like a hospitality suite where we're going to have people and coming and going, so it's going to be pretty exciting. I don't know what we have planned for New Year's, but I'm just on board with wherever we go.
Cool.
And I'll be vlogging a lot, so that's starting today. If you're listening Monday, I'll be there today. So if you guys are at SLS, come say hello.
Right on.
I'll be around. I think I'm going to be filming for them, but also filming for us. So I'll be putting up some content on our Instagram and making it happen. So I'm excited for that.
Cool. Yeah, and we're praying for all of you guys that this new year is fruitful, is exciting, it's prayerful, that you're pursuing God, and know that God is pursuing you this year. God pursues us with that same intent every single day, so we got to pursue him back.
There you go.
And we'll see you guys. Thank you guys for your support in 2019. It's been amazing. We can't wait for 2020, and we look forward to continuing to pray with you and to share our faith with you.
We promise in the next episode we will make a list of all our Patreon members because we owe you guys certain things. We haven't put our swag on there yet because we don't have any.
Yeah.
But right now it's been we'll pray for you, which we have been doing. Yeah. But we said shout outs in there, so we're gonna shout y'all out.
We're gonna shout y'all out, and we will have 2020. We will have merchandise. We will have shirts. We will have mugs.
There you go.
Stickers,
hold us accountable.
Whatever. People are asking for it. The gigs that the events that we're going to have been asking us if we're bringing anything. We're like, ugh. So we are going to get some stuff. We appreciate you all so much. So it's coming.
There you go.
Hang tight. And then real quick on the podcast that I want to shout out really quick, just because we haven't done it on the podcast, we do it on Instagram, is go follow Catholic Connect.
Yes.
On Instagram. Friend of ours runs it. Incredible Catholic, incredible guy. They're doing great things over at Catholic Connect. I think it's going to be a huge in the future of
year for
modern evangelization in Catholicism, in just helping the church connect.
He's got an app coming. It's not really official yet, so just watch out for that. It's going to be the next big thing in social media, because social media is the way to evangelize us Catholics. You can do it at your home base here, but you can reach so many more people through social media, and Richie at Catholic Connect is doing a phenomenal thing. So it's going to be huge in 2020. So Catholic Connect, thank you for the shout outs and everything on us. We look forward to growing our friendship and partnering in any way that God provides for us. Yeah. And so thanks, Richie. You're the man. Yeah. And
and the Basic Catholic too over
Basic
on Instagram. He's a friend of ours, so make sure. And he kind of gave us our first big kind of gave us our first big push. So we're always appreciative to him. So go follow those guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
As well as following us if you don't already. Tell all your friends. Share us if you can. We love that support. We'll always share you back. And as always, if you ever want to talk to us, our messages are open. You don't know. It's a gamble which one of us you're going to talk to. But we are available to talk to. We love chatting with you guys. So
yeah. So again, Merry Christmas. Have a great rest of your Christmas season. A very happy New Year to you. Happy Epiphany coming up. And we look forward to seeing you in 2020.
Yeah. All right.
All right. That's it.
Peace.
Peace.